man of immense skill, and he's not a Golovkin. You know, he's not a guy that's going to come out and knock people out and get the crowd on the feet. He's a guy that is technically one of the most gifted fighters in the world.
When is Anthony Joshua going to fight here in the US?
When you guys get the money together. We've got a lot of money in the UK right now. But, you know, listen, we're working hard with Showtime. We want the Deontay Wilder fight in 2017. We've got to build that fight into a huge fight. If we did it here now, it would be big. If we did it here in 12 months, it could be massive.
Was the deal with HBO? You put a fighter in there with, you had Paul Smith opposite Ward. What makes him difficult to beat? I've seen you at that fight.
Technically gifted. More than that, I was with Carl Froch when he boxed Andre Ward, and you know, I really thought he could beat him, and you know, he didn't school him, but you know, he gave him a good beating that night. Technically, Carl said he's so strong. You know, we wanted Carl to get inside and work on the inside and beat him up and rough him up, but Andre Ward did it instead. So, you know, he's very, very gifted, but I didn't think he looked great on his feet in the first 3 or 4 rounds. Taking the knockdown away, even in the first round, I don't know, you know, he took him a while to get into the fight, and then when he did, he took over. But the rounds were very close. You know, the rounds that Kovalev won, he won easy, and the rounds that Ward won, he won marginally.
Who would you pick on a rematch?
Probably Andre Ward. I thought Andre Ward would win the fight every day of the week, but not like that. You know.
What do you think of the horse? Yeah.
A lot of people give me different answers.
Yeah, but so I just said I was sitting next to Badu Jack. Badu Jack said Kovalev won by 3 rounds. The guy behind me said Ward won by 2 rounds. I had Ward by I think 1 round. Dan Raphael and you know, some of these guys had Kovalev by like 3 or 4 rounds. But I can't see it. I can't. How do you give Kovalev hardly any of the rounds in the back 6 of the fight? He didn't do anything. And Ward didn't do a lot, but he did enough. And you know, people were saying about American judges, and when you're fighting in America and you're an American, just like if you're a Brit and you're fighting in Britain and the crowd are on your side, there's going to be more noise. You could slip a shot, the crowd erupt, and that plays into the subconscious of judges, and you know, and that's just fact. That's life. It's not corruption. It's just how it is. When there's a close round and there's people are cheering for these shots and that shot, they're going to get the nod in the round. So,
what do you make of the Carl Froch Triple G back and forth banter on Twitter?
Not a lot. Well, I was out having a good drink with Tom Loeffler, and he drunk tweeted, and you know, and Carl Froch started texting me asking me how much he could weigh in that fight, because he's a big guy at the moment. But no, I think you'll see. Carl Froch is nearly 40. As he said, Gennady needs to pick on these younger guys. It's not fair.
If you were his promoter, this was a tough fight tonight. If you were his promoter, would you advise? I mean, there's not very many options at 175. Would you go straight to a rematch, or would you?
Well, I think a rematch is the one. I don't know if there's a clause for a rematch. Yeah. Well, then there you go. That's answered the question. But I think the rematch is a sellable fight. And to be honest with you, like, I don't know what the pay-per-view numbers were tonight, but both guys aren't huge worldwide draws, so maybe the rematch is the fight that makes sense for both guys, because who do they fight if not? You know, who does Andre Ward fight at 175? Stevenson will be a great fight, Stevenson against Ward. But yeah, if there's a rematch clause, obviously that'll happen next.
I mean, you put on extremely impressive events in the UK. What advice or tips would you give American promoters? No, you're smiling, but it's true. What would they do different here to bring it like your atmosphere?
Well, I mean, I sit around and watch and go, thank God for our shows in the UK, because there's no atmosphere.
Is it the fans? Is that what makes the difference?
I don't know what it is. I mean, maybe the time. You know, you're in here at 7. You've got the chief support running at 7 o'clock, 7:30, and like I'm looking around. There's people with food on their laps, eating their dinner. You come to our events, there's people with glasses of champagne, mojitos, dancing, spinning around, jumping on their seats. But could we do that at 7:30? Maybe not. That's one of the things. And also, you're talking about Kovalev and Ward. They're not, you know, they're not the guys. You know, it's a different atmosphere. Triple G is a more lively atmosphere. But I don't know what it is. I don't know. You know, I'm not. I don't. I'd love to just tell you it was me. But it might be. Might be.
Eddie, was the Showtime deal?
Sorry?
How close is the Wilder Joshua fight to happen? Where would you like it to be?
I'd like it to be here. Yeah, here or Madison Square Garden. Yeah.
And what you think of King Kong Ortiz, your first fight with him against Malik Scott? What was your impression?
Very poor. very poor. And both the halves. Alex got run terribly for the fight. He spoke a great game, and we know he boxes off the back foot, but that was taking it to another level. And I thought Ortiz was poor. He should have cut him off, should have thrown more shots, and he should have stopped him. You know, but Ortiz is one of the best heavyweights in the world. It doesn't change through that performance. It was just a bit disappointing when we had that platform to go in and finish the job.
The Showtime deal, thank you, Eddie. The Showtime deal, was there a contingency, Joshua Wilder?
No, not at all, no. You know, we'll fight Molina on the 10th, then we'll fight Klitschko, and then we want Wilder after. So, you know, obviously Wilder's a Showtime fighter. It's a huge fight for Deontay Wilder. It's the biggest fight out there for him. And you know, I think he'd be receptive to that fight as well.
And talk about the Olympic pedigree. You have an Olympic champion, Clarissa Shields won, Andre Ward. Talk about the complexity of your boxing game, the intricacies of your game, combined with having that Olympic experience.
Well, the pedigree is important, but it doesn't always make you a hungry fighter. You know, the guys that have had the blessing of coming through a system where they're funded can sometimes take the hunger away from them. You know, Clarissa Shields, a great fighter. We've got Katie Taylor, Olympic champion, debuting next week. Andre Ward's a very skilled fighter, but it doesn't, you know, just because you've won an Olympic medal, don't mean you're going to go and achieve in the pro game. But you know, anyone with that pedigree has immense skill, and if it, you know, normally the cream rises to the top.
What type of opponent are you looking for Luis Ortiz in December? Someone a little bit more offensive?
Yeah, I think.
You already know what it is. It's Barbershop Conversations. Hit the subscribe and the like button today.